Well, Crowing State Park returned to its humble beginnings as a fur trade encampment in mid-June. And in this week's Northwoods adventure, Shane Lee follows canoes and kayaks down the Mississippi River and into a reenactment.
Our story begins in 2013 at Brainerd's Kiwanis Park. About 24 canoers and kayakers launched their vessels in the Mississippi River for what seems like a normal trip. The travelers feel comfortable enough to eat some lunch.
We had 2 kayaks and a canoe. We bound them together and just laid there and floated down, had our lunch, and just watched the terrain go by.
Somehow, as the travelers leave the water, they emerge in an early 1800s fur trade encampment. It took the canoeists and kayakers only a couple hours moving downstream to travel approximately 170 years into the past. Simpkin says approaching the rendezvous site made him feel like an old fur trader.
It was just great to be part of that history, to just kind of sit there and float down the river and think of what it must have been like.
The Crow Wing County Muzzleloaders Club hosts the event with about 12 of its members surrounded by pre-1840s clothing and equipment.
From that point on, beaver pelts weren't worth any money to speak of. Prior to that, it's what brought people to this part of the country.
Long before white settlers, the area contained a wide variety of resources for the Ojibwe and Dakota. The merging of the Mississippi and Crow Wing rivers provided an easy-to-find meeting place between the tribes' hunting trips and harvests. In the 1700s, Europeans came with firearms, cloth, and metal tools.
They found that there was something nice to be had here by mutual friendship and consideration and trading.
Trading continued with French trappers, English settlers, and eventually Americans. By the 1830s, Crow Wing became the northernmost American settlement on the Mississippi. The town served as the river crossing of the Red River Oxcart Trail.
Crow Wing was a thriving little community going on with business people trying to make it into the town of the North.
Fur trading ended in the 1840s. Crow Wing became a ghost town after the Northern Pacific Railway built the Mississippi Crossing 10 miles north in Brainerd in 1871. The rendezvous reenactment has been the closest thing to a town in Crow Wing ever since. Shane Lee, Lakeland News.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.